Hey guys, I'm in my Model Y. This is a 2024 Model Y, so it's a hardware 4 Model Y, which is as of right now, it's the latest version of the full self-driving computer, the best cameras available, and this has the included full self-driving capability in this car, and I use it all the time, and it's gotten better. Every software update is getting better. I'm still on 13.2.9 full self-driving software. There was just an update that updated that version. So I've had this version probably for a month or so, but guys, full self-driving, I'm amazed every time I use it just how well it's getting. This thing is learning extremely quick. It adapts. It does natural lane changes. I'm really impressed with how this works. So you might be wondering, like, let's say if you're new to Tesla or you're considering a Tesla, is the full self-driving package worth it? You can pay $8,000 up front. If you're buying a brand new Tesla, you have the option of paying $8,000 up front and you own the package for as long as you own the car. Or, and I don't even know if it tells you this on the Tesla website when you're buying your car, but you can subscribe to the service for $100 a month, which that's probably a little bit better deal as long as it stays $100 a month. Who knows? When this robo-taxi's coming out, unsupervised FSD is on the horizon. Right now it's considered supervised, which means you still have to pay attention. You can't just, doze off. You can't multitask. You still need to be paying attention. When it comes to unsupervised, you'll be able to you won't even have to pay attention to the road. The car will be doing all the work, which it will be pretty impressive. But when that happens, when these future versions of the full self-driving software come out, I would guess it's going to be more expensive. That would be my guess. Tesla, Elon Musk, he's constantly talking about how valuable full self-driving is going to be, and that's why they've charged up to $15,000 in the past. It was $15,000. It was now $12,000. It was $10,000. It's $8,000 now. And they have a subscription version, which is $100 a month right now. Now, I don't have it activated right now. I'm just headed to a destination about 32 miles away from here. A lot of it's going to be on the freeway here. But one key to FSD is always have your destination into the navigation. So if you just touch on the navigation bar that you type in, you just push down. This is on the Model Y. You just push down the scroll wheel, that activates the voice activation. You can just say your destination, whether it's an actual address, or you can just say the type of or the name of the place, and it'll find the address, and then you just hit start trip, and you'll go, which is really cool. So it's easy to navigate to your destination. FSD works best when you're navigating to a destination because then it knows where to go. If you're not navigating, it doesn't really know where you want to go, and so it's probably not going to go where you want it to go. On the Model Y here, we're just going to activate it with one push down with the gear stalk here. If I just push that down, it activates it. There's a couple of profiles. Right now it's on hurry. There's chill, standard, hurry. And depending on the profiles, it depends how it acts. You see how this immediately got over to the left lane and it's going, well, above the speed limit. That's in the hurry mode. If I click it down to standard, it will move over and slow down a little bit, which I'll show you here. I'll move it down to, I just click this over to, I go to the left, pushes over to the left to go standard. So immediately it turned on the blinker, it moved over, and I'm in the middle lane. It'll slow down just a little bit. Going chill mode, chill will just like kind of hang out here in the middle lane. It'll go right around the speed limit. It won't get too aggressive and pass. If there's a car going, like right now the speed limit's 70, if there's a car going 71 or 69, it'll just stay behind that car. It won't pass. So kind of as you get up in standard and hurry, that's when it gets a little more aggressive in passing. The FSD is awesome. I recently took a road trip, not in this car. My wife has a Model Y and she doesn't have the included package. We just subscribed to it when we want it, when we need it. That's a 7-seater Model Y, and we all take that. I have 4 kids. My wife and I go on that. 6 people. We take that on road trips because it has free supercharging, and we pay for the FSD for a month. Like, it's $100 a month to have it. And I activated it. I didn't, we went on an 800-mile round road trip, and FSD did the driving. I just sat here and just watched it drive, and it did fantastic. I mean, it made lane changes exactly like I would make them. It just drove like I would drive, and it's getting very natural. And that makes a big deal in wanting to do it. If you were to look at this same software a year and a half ago, even 2 years ago, when it was still like in beta stage, it's made huge improvements. I would think in the next 2 years, I definitely could see unsupervised coming, where this car can very easily get to its destination without any intervention, without even a driver in the seat. Like right now, I'm not going to touch the pedals, I'm not going to touch the steering wheel, I'm not going to touch the blinker stalk, the drive. Now I can put inputs. If I want this to speed up a little, I can just slightly tap the accelerator and it will like inch up the speed. I can use the scroll wheel right here to increase or decrease the maximum speed. And then I can use the blinker to manually have it change lanes. So if I want it to pre-pass or get into a lane earlier for an exit, I can do that. I've normally just been letting it do its thing, and it's been fine. It's really been fine. It's really done really well. But if you get a little anxious and you're like, oh, I want to get over into this lane sooner, or I want to get into the exit lane sooner, usually like it's almost like about a half a mile away from the exit, it'll start getting over to the right lane when you're exiting, like off the freeway, which, normally I would get over like within a mile, just depending on the traffic. I don't want to start cutting people off. I don't want to have to drive aggressively to get over. But this is doing just fine with that, and I haven't had to like intervene or take over, make any corrections. So it's really been great. Now you still get these nags if you hold your phone in your hand, or if you're looking at the screen too long or looking out the windows too long, it will nag you to be like, pay attention. It'll have you touch the wheel. Otherwise, it just monitors you through this camera up here, and it's just watching your eyes to see if you were paying attention. Sometimes if you're wearing a hat, and it's a little too low over your eyes, it'll say active monitoring disabled. It can't see your eyes because of your hat. So a lot of times if I'm sitting in the car, I'll just take my hat off, so that way it's not bugging me about touching the wheel. I don't really want to have to touch the wheel or let it know I'm paying attention. It is doing really well with sunglasses now. So if you're wearing sunglasses, the camera, as long as your head is like pointing straight in front, it's not really bugging you about paying attention. It kind of sees that you're not asleep. It sees that you're relatively paying attention, and that's really all it needs to see. But we have about 24 miles here. It does really well on the highway. It's almost perfect as far as changing lanes, speed, staying in the lane, when to pull over. It pulls over really well. If there's a disabled car or emergency vehicle on the side on the shoulder, it will get over and then it moves back over. Probably the few times that I intervene with this is, let's say, making like a left-hand turn, like yielding at a left-hand arrow where it's a yield. You got to wait for traffic. I've sometimes intervened there, but recently haven't had very many interventions on the city streets, and that's even more impressive because it's just doing so well. It's navigating the streets really well. I have had a few instances on the freeway where there'll be a construction zone and there'll be a temporary like orange sign saying, reduce speed down to 55 miles an hour, and this thing just blows right through it. It doesn't see them for whatever reason. I don't know. It's very clear and visible. It's not like they're hidden. They're very, very obvious, and sometimes the car won't see that and just blow right through the construction zone. So sometimes you got to be careful with that. With when there's speed zone or temporarily reduced speed areas, you might intervene and reduce the speed on your own. Now you might think, well, is it worth $8,000 to purchase this outright? And you know, it depends. If you're not used to it, the car comes with like base autopilot, which is basically just advanced cruise control. So for when you're on the freeway like this, you just activate it and it steers for itself. It stays at your set speed. If you have to change lanes, it activates the steering, and then you have to reactivate it when you get into your new lane. So, I mean, the autopilot is just fine. But once you get a feel for how the full self-driving works, like Tesla will give you usually when you're buying a car now, Tesla will give you 1 to 3 months of full self-driving as like a sample to try it out. And if you use it all the time and you get used to it, it's kind of hard to like be without it. And when I'm doing like longer drives, like this is like a 40-minute drive, most of it's highway, it's very valuable to me to have that. And who's to say? We don't really know how, like if we know that the $100 per month FSD price is going to remain $100 a month, then it might be worth it just to pay the $100 a month, right? If I can see it going up in price, though, I really can, especially when you can send your car out to be a robo-taxi and it can make you money. Tesla's going to charge more for that service to be able to, use your car on the robo-taxi or to pay for the full self-driving. And so, investing now at $8,000, that's the lowest price it's ever been. I could only see it going up in the future. So it might be wise just to pay for it. Tesla has allowed, and they're allowing right now, if you buy a new Tesla and you have a car, like this car has the FSD fully paid for on it, if I was to buy a new Tesla, I could transfer this to a new car. So it's not like lost or stays with the car now. You could transfer that, but it's not always going to be an option to transfer it. Tesla hasn't always allowed that. So far, after having activated FSD, I've had 0 interventions. I'll kind of keep you updated. The rest of the drive, kind of boring. There's not going to be a lot of difficult parts for it. It's really just, this is just a 2-lane freeway here. In a couple miles, we're going to get to 3 and 4 lane with a HOV lane. And so that's one thing that I haven't figured out. And if you know the answer to this, leave it in the comments. But if I have other people in the car and I want to take the HOV lane, I don't know how to let the car know other than to manually change lanes into the HOV lane. And when it gets in the HOV lane and there's an opening or a space to get out, it always wants to get out of it. And so maybe it's a navigation setting where I have don't use HOV lanes, but I'm still trying to figure out the HOV lanes, because sometimes you want to take the HOV when you have passengers and it's going to help speed up your trip, but the car doesn't want to stay in there. So let me know if you know how to get around the HOV lane or make it stay in the HOV lane. All right, so I'm just getting off the freeway here. Everything was fine on the freeway, no issues or problems. See, it's kind of turning on a red light here, and it right on red, and it did really good. Maybe one other issue up here might be, so look at this. I like how it just got over, because look how long this right lane is, or this middle lane is. The left lane is a lot shorter, and so it just knew to like get over here. I'm turning left in a mile, and sometimes this left turn, depending on traffic, we'll see how it does, because it's probably going to be like a left turn lane with like a flashing yellow yield arrow. That's what a lot of these are here. All right, 0.1 miles, I'm turning here. It's getting over. It's getting right over here in the opening. And we do have a flashing yellow, so this is just going to be a turn left when it's clear. Actually, it's not that busy here. There's just one car in. It's actually one. So that was an easy turn. So see this red light? This is a right turn, so it stops behind the line and then creeps up. I mean, this is exactly how you're supposed to do that. This is a little harder of a turn because I have a light pole, the stoplight pole's over here on the left, and it kind of is blocking the view a little bit here. Let's see what it's... I could have taken this right lane right here. Okay, it's clear, basically clear after this. Jeez, man. That guy. So it handled that right turn pretty good. It really just waited till there was a clear opening. If I was driving and was like in a real big hurry, I could have been aggressive and really like, you know, when you're driving the Tesla, you can speed up really quickly, so you can kind of get into those gaps really easily without really cutting anyone off. But this drive's pretty conservative. I have it in standard mode, so that also is a reason why it probably wasn't super aggressive. They just waited for a clear opening. All right, guys. So far, I'm actually just I'm less than a mile to my destination, 0.3 miles to my destination. But so I just wanted to kind of give a demo of FSD. I mean, it keeps getting better. I love it. I use it all the time. I basically, wherever I'm driving, I have it activated, just because it makes the ride it just smooth. I can just sit here, kind of relax, pay attention. I don't have to worry about the controls, actually driving the car. And it helps. I want the car to kind of learn, and so if it does something that I don't want it to do, I can deactivate it, and it'll ask me for a recording, and I will give it feedback as to why I disengaged it, and it's going to learn from that. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to leave your comments down below. How do you like full self-driving? Do you use it? Do you think it's worth it? I'm curious to hear your feedback and thoughts on that. But hit that thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.